This time I'm going to review a book which has been an international bestseller, Educated by Tara Westover. My sister referred me to this. I can't imagine why. I think she thought I was obsessing too much about my dysfunctional childhood and she wanted to give me a reality check because this book is absolutely horrifying. I had no idea that such a family could continue to exist and not go to jail, fall apart, self-destruct. I mean, really, talk about dysfunctional. The father is obsessed with the end of the world and the Illuminati, and he insists on keeping his children out of school and not even getting birth certificates for them because then the government will have control over them. He stockpiles because there's going to be some end of days event and they're going to have to run for the hills, although where he thinks they're going to go after that I don't know. And her mother develops a career as a herbalist and midwife, although she has absolutely no training and she shouldn't really be doing it. And when they have an accident, which seems fairly frequent because their father has so little regard for health and safety, and he runs a scrapping yard, he and all his children have to spend their days lugging huge chunks of iron around and cutting them up and falling off things. He does not believe in safety. They don't wear safety helmets because they get in the way or something. I don't know. And he is apparently bipolar. That must be the least of his troubles, being bipolar. He gets very depressed in the winter. It's an extreme version of sad, where he lies on his bed and won't speak or move. And the family decides they've got to go to Arizona for the winter, but it's more sunny and it'll cheer him up, because I think they're living in Oklahoma and it has the winters there are very cold and unpleasant, dark. So they go to Oklahoma to the caravan park where one of their grandparents is also staying for the winter. And then one day the dad perks up and says, okay, we're going back home now, but it's evening. So one of his sons is going to drive them back in the station wagon overnight, 12 hours. He falls asleep at the wheel. None of them are wearing seatbelts because Dad doesn't believe in seatbelts, of course, and the vehicle is not insured, and they hit a few telegraph poles and crash into a farmer's tractor, and somehow they escape being carted off to the police station or hospital or whatever. I think it's easier in America to avoid going to hospital and having encounters with professional medical people because you have to pay to do it, and so it's not automatic and people can slip through the net more easily if they want to. So they somehow get themselves taken home, and the mother has had, she's banged her head, she's got brain damage, she has to stay in a dark place for weeks and can't bear the light, and she's never quite the same afterwards, and she has problems with her memory. But they don't take her to hospital, they don't take anybody to hospital. They do everything themselves, which would be not so bad, except that one of the author's brothers, Tara Westover, is, if he's not a psychopath, he's certainly an obsessive, violent control freak. And he terrorizes all his siblings one by one as they're growing up. It's all very confused because I think they develop false memories because of the way the family sticks together and nobody will accept the truth of what's happening. Nobody will admit that they're violent and that they're doing things they shouldn't be doing, and so it's quite hard for this woman once she finally escapes, and she takes a long time to escape from the family. It's hard for her to work out what actually was going on in the past. And half of her siblings escape with her, but the other half get sucked back into the vortex of the family. And it just makes you appreciate how hard it is to leave a family, no matter how dysfunctional it is, because it's your home, it's the people you know and the people you love, and no matter how violent they are and how unpleasant your life is made to become, you don't know anything else. The way she gets out, of course, finally, is by being educated. She gets to university. She discovers with horror that other people do things differently to the way she's been taught they should be done. And there's a wider world out there. and she eventually makes it. But it's a bittersweet ending, because if she decides not to return to her family and allow them to control her, they disown her, and so she's got to make a decision. So yeah, it's horrifying because of the life choices people have to make, and because of the emotional and physical violence that these people have to suffer on their homestead. And only in America, I think. I kept thinking when I was reading this book, how much worse is it going to get? I don't think I can take any more of this abuse and violence. But I made it to the end, and I'm glad I did. And if you haven't read it yet, which is quite likely you have because it has been a bestseller, give it a go, but it's not for the faint-hearted, I warn you now. Okay, see you next time. Bye.